And welcome back, everyone, to Front Office Sports Today. I'm Baker Machado in New York, and San Francisco is on the clock for the Women's Professional Baseball League draft on November the 20th. This where 130 players will be eligible for the draft, with teams selecting 15 players for their roster ahead of their inaugural season next year, with USA Baseball and Savannah Bananas star Kelsie Whitmore seen as the likely number one pick in the draft. So to get a preview, let's bring in Kelsie Whitmore. Kelsie, good to have you here. Thanks so much for joining us. So let's talk about the pre-draft process. What's it been like ahead of this very big moment for you?
Yeah, no, I mean, first of all, thank you for having me on. I'm super excited for the draft. It's gonna be a cool childhood moment. You grow up being a little girl, seeing all the big leaguers, get drafted, and you're just like, man, I want to go through that experience of knowing what it feels like to be drafted and get picked to a team. And now us women have this opportunity for ourselves, and it's a surreal moment. Really excited for it, and just looking forward to spending time with my family and friends. I'm hosting a draft watch party at my house, the night of. So just gonna spend time with the people that kind of have been there all along and through the journey, and excited to see where I land and see who my future teammates will be.
Well, let's talk about that. San Francisco has the number one pick. Obviously, it seems like you're likely going to be the number one pick as well. Do you know much about what the franchise is going to be like and how it's going to be sort of set up, if it's going to be built around you?
Right. So I feel right now with the whole league, there's four different teams. So we got San Francisco, we got Boston, New York, and LA. And I know from right now, wherever we do land, the WPBL wants us to grow within those communities as much as we can. And I think it's really important for us to grow within those communities because, you got other women's professional sports in San Francisco, in LA, especially, out in New York. And, Boston is a very historic cultural place as well with a lot of sports. So all these areas are really perfect hotspots to grow our game. And unfortunately, the first year we won't be playing in those sites. We'll be playing at a neutral site in Illinois, where it all began and where women's baseball kind of began. So we're kind of taking that historic kind of roots. But then from there, hopefully, we'll grow into playing in those set sites for our teams, and then yeah, maybe a little bit of barnstorming along the East Coast, West Coast. Who knows? Who knows? I think it'll just be really cool to just be able to represent those cities and grow within those
I
communities.
mean, I feel like you've been a trailblazer your entire career. I mean, you helped lead Team USA to gold in the 2015 Pan Am Games, silver at the 2025 Baseball World Cups. In 2022, Kelsie, you became the first woman to play in a Major League Baseball partner league with the Staten Island Ferry Hawks, and now the likely number one pick as this league is being launched. I mean, do you feel like you've just been preparing for this moment pretty much your entire career here?
Yeah, no, 100%. It's funny you say that because I was talking to my family the other day. And I was like, you know what? It really feels like everything was all worth it in the end. There was a lot of struggle with being the only female on my team over the past 6 seasons of professional baseball, four different teams, 3 or 4 different teams. It was yeah, a lot of struggle and a lot of uncertainty, right? Not knowing how to navigate, not knowing how to get to the next step, not knowing how to get signed somewhere, right? Now there's a place for women to have that. Now young girls who are 12, 13, 14 years old don't have to worry about how can I play, baseball professionally? Like, how do I navigate through that? There is now a place for that. And so it's just one of those moments where it's like, man, like it was all worth it in the end, because now there's something where I feel like I belong in, and it's exciting. It's exciting. I'm just super excited for it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think there's been a professional women's baseball league since like World War II, right? Since like a league of their
Yeah,
own, those
yeah,
days.
no, that's 100% correct. Let's see, 40, I think it's like the 40s, 50s,
Hmm.
around that time was when the last league uh, took place, and the reason was because of World War. The men went to the war, and they wanted some kind of form of entertainment. So at the time, men thought, oh, well, if we just throw women in skirts and put them on a field, that will be hysterical. And then eventually they're like, oh wow, these girls are balling out actually, and so they end up actually having the league for a couple years, and then men came back from war, went back to the factories, and yeah, and so ever since then we haven't had a league, and we are just we've been craving one, and so now that it's here, it's so exciting
Well,
to look.
let's talk about that for a moment, because I feel like this is the perfect time with this huge rush of expansion of women's sports right now, that it feels like this was a great time for this league to finally come out.
Yeah, it's 100% a perfect time. You have not just women in baseball that like there's more opportunities coming. There's girls playing in college baseball. You got the World Cup that's like growing, and women in professional baseball. But not just that, other women's sports is growing. Like women's sports in general, like the time is
Hmm.
now, and it's perfect. It's the perfect time, and there's some badasses out there in women's sports, and so it's exciting to see it happening, especially during this time. And I'm mostly excited because it's during a time, it's like my prime time when I'm competing, and so I didn't know if there'd even be a women's pro league when I was still like playing and in my playing career. So it's definitely something that is really cool to look forward to.
One of the other things I'm probably sure you didn't think you would ever do is play for the Savannah Bananas, which
Yeah.
have basically overtaken the world in popularity. You guys are selling out stadiums left and right. Tell us what it was like to play for the Savannah Bananas, and what's really the secret sauce that have made fans so obsessed with banana ball?
Yeah, banana ball is like you're right. I never thought I ever would. I was in a place in my career where it kind of just made sense and it fit, and the timing was right. And truthfully, it was an answered prayer. And so I took it. I ran with the opportunity, and it ended up being one of the most exciting, like the coolest opportunities I've ever had. And I got to fulfill so many little childhood dreams. From playing at Petco Park,
Hmm.
pitching off just a big league mound in general, to playing in front of sold out crowds. It's that was an incredible experience, and on top of it, it was some of the men that I played with were some of the coolest guys. Like I've been very fortunate over the years with the professional teams I've played on, where the men have been they're awesome. They're like older brothers to me, right? But this team was there's a bunch of goofballs that can
Hmm.
ball out, do some backflips in the outfield while they catch a ball, like just cool stuff. But it was different. It was definitely different. I'm not someone I'm very like just chill, low key, and it's a very loud, big entertainment, right, based environment, and so definitely had to adapt. But I got to do what I love at the end of the day, so it was all worth it in the end.
Are
And
you done with the Bananas, or is there an opportunity that you could still go back and play for them down the road?
so I the one of the things that I know the owner wants is to have women on each team.
Hmm.
That is something that has been said before, and it's definitely something that been put out there. And so, at the moment, right now, they have set some of their teams, and at the moment, and then moving forward, hopefully, there will be another opportunity next year for us women to play. I know they really want that, and I know they really support it. So. Yeah, I hopefully down the line I see myself in yellow again.
Well, we also can't wait for the big draft, the likely #1 pick in the Professional Women's Baseball League draft, Kelsie Whitmore. Kelsie, such a pleasure to have you here. Congratulations on all your success, and best of luck coming up ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.